I actually built and released my first ever app while working a 9 till 5, and I honestly didn't think I would finish it because I've started so many projects in the past and just kind of left them. But this time I actually got something on the Play Store published. Starting with the actual idea. I knew in the back of my mind that I wanted to do something that I could finish. One day I thought of an idea to make an app that is basically just conversation starters. This idea came from spending time with my family. We just sip on tea and have snacks and just have random conversations. And sometimes that comes from a random question from somebody, which then leads on to one thing and another, and then it becomes a really interesting conversation. And also a while back, we played the game Hygge. I think that's how you pronounce it, and that is basically cards with conversation prompts. So this is not a new idea, this has been done before, and because this idea is literally just displaying prompts, that sounded like a simple enough idea for me to be able to finish. So end of 2025, I thought, okay, I've got lots of annual leave around Christmas, that's where I'll actually start designing it, and I'm just gonna make it in a week. That's what I thought in my head, that I'm just gonna like get it. I wanted to get something done, even if it was disgustingly ugly. I just wanted to finish it, and I had to balance not spending too much time on it, because I feel like the longer you drag something out, the less likely it is you finish it, but also have to be realistic with my time. Like, how much spare time do I have? I have a full-time job. I have a YouTube channel which I try and release a video every week. It's quite time consuming because sometimes that involves researching videos, scripting them, filming them, editing them, and that all takes quite a lot of time. And also I wanted a life, so I had to make it possible, and the way I made it possible is that, well, first, like I mentioned, the idea was very, very simple, and I wanted to focus, because the app idea was simple, I wanted to focus on like the design and how it's presented, and also get some in-app purchases in there. I don't expect this app to make me like money specifically, but I think just the experience of knowing how to do that would be useful if I then wanted to move on to something else and make another app. And as I was working on this app, I was able to sit down most evenings and get like big chunks done, which was really good for motivation. So in one evening I could maybe, I've sorted out like the database. So in terms of choosing the tools, Expo is something that's pretty well documented. So I chose that because it seemed like easy to get started with. And I've used React before, so that made it a bit more familiar to me. I also chose Revenue Cat to deal with in-app purchases, and I chose Supabase as my database because it's easy to use. I started with a lot of rough design work, so I have Canva and I just kind of made some wireframes of what I wanted the screens to look like. So I started with like, I don't know, a starting screen. From the beginning I wanted the person or the user to be able to personalize their name. It's such a minor thing, but I don't know, I thought of that from the beginning. I wanted you to be able to see like the decks, and of course I tested things a lot. I used the Expo dev client thing. You can get it on your phone. You can also test it in the web as well, and then I also made a number of builds I could put on the Play Store as test builds, because you kind of have to be able to get to production. You have to have a checklist of stuff. Have you had internal testing, closed testing? Have you got testers that are enrolled? It's quite a process. So alongside actually building the app, I was working out how to do the Google Play side of things. So I had a good looking app pretty quickly. I had a lot of tweaks along the way, worked on stuff through feedback, which was really helpful from like my family and friends, and like little valuable things like my dad using the app is different from like me or my siblings using it, because we're probably more familiar and can kind of intuitively work an app, whereas for my dad, he was like, when I opened it I didn't know what to click on, didn't know what to expect, which then made me think, okay, I'll add some onboarding screens to kind of explain it a little bit. Just really simple ones. But yeah, the feedback is definitely really important because you can get consumed with it and just kind of think, oh, well, you're the developer, you know best, you know, you like the design, so it's okay. But you have to appreciate users use it differently to just you. So the more people you can get feedback from, the better. I mean, the minimum for Google Play for testers to be enrolled in your test app has to be 12. I found it quite hard to get 12. I mean, my family's pretty big, but not everyone has Android phones. So yeah, anyway, I managed to meet the 12 people, but yeah, the feedback was really important. And yeah, at the time of filming this video, I literally released my app yesterday to the Play Store. I've not announced it anywhere because I just kind of needed to collect my thoughts. I went on holiday for like 3 weeks and then came back and then released it. I'm gonna show you what MinMin actually looks like. When you're like starting up the app for the very first time, you're faced with a couple of onboarding screens. So just like a kind of introduction to MinMin, and then you can continue through that and it will explain the different features, so different prompts. You can build custom decks and you can also save to favorites, and it explains how to use it a little bit. So it mentioned you have to swipe for the prompts, which is something that might not be obvious. And then the final screen asks you for your display name, just to keep it a little bit personal, just like a nickname, and then you can start min-minning. Then you have the homepage. So what would you like to talk about today? This is a prompt in itself, but yeah, it then prompts you to choose a deck and get started. So this is a free app. There's 5 free decks and 5 paid decks. So you can either unlock one or unlock all, and unlocking all will unlock any future ones if I decide to add them. So let's click on this deck, Lighthearted, and it gives you a little description with how many cards are in it, and then you can pretty much just swipe through the prompts. You can see what number you're on. You can also shuffle and reset the deck, and then of course you can favorite the cards that you really like. And then we have our favorites tab, which has all the cards that you have favorited, and if you favorited cards from different decks, you can filter them, you can clear them. And I thought this was just really nice to have in case you have a question that you come across and there's someone you've got in mind, oh, I want to ask that, or you know, you just really like the question, you can favorite it. Going back to the homepage, we then have min mix mode, which is at the top, and this is where you can just mix all your decks together and shuffle them, and then you can just go through them, and it's a bit more unexpected. You're not just on one light-hearted deck, you might sprinkle in some deep questions in there, so it keeps it a bit more like varied. And here you can filter out decks that you don't want, you can shuffle them again and reset. And we have the account tab. So there's not much in here, it's just kind of, I've kept like using your name as like, hello, your name. And this is where you can change your display name. It tells you a bit about MinMin and what it came from, just like I explained to you before. You can also rate MinMin, so this will open up the Play Store and let you rate it, and then also how to play. So in case you want to read through how to use it, there's different modes you can use it. You can use it in however you want, but it suggests some different ways, tells you like, you know, try and get around with your friends and family, keep like notifications off. The kind of point is to get into conversation and not have any distractions. Of course, this is just suggestions. And that's pretty much the app. If you want to download it, it is free off the Play Store, so I'll link that below. But let me know what you think. Any feedback is welcome. Just let me know your thoughts on it. But I hope this video has shown you that you can release something, you can build and finish something and release it. It just takes the combination of trying to, especially if it's your first app or website, choose something that's simple in terms of the idea, that you feel like you can mostly do it and it might have a little bit of challenge, but try and choose something that you can get done in a short window of time. But yeah, I'd love to hear any of your suggestions on how to release your first app in the comments. Let me know, let everyone else know, because people find it useful. But other than that, I'll see you next time.